Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Mandy and thank you for joining our Winterfest Colourarte event today. So if you are watching this and you haven't seen all of the artists before me, I will list all of their videos in the description box. You will want to watch all of them so that you can get the secret phrase. So I'm over here blabbing away while I'm showing you my colors. So I guess I'm just going to have to talk you through them. I don't end up using all of them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something similar to what I've been doing with the ornaments, but on the inside of a vase. So I got this idea from Erika from Artist Till Death, and she did one, and to seal it, she resined the inside. So I haven't done that part yet, but what I'm putting on the inside here is polyacrylic, but you could also use like a gloss pouring medium or whatever. So the difficulty is you don't want too much fluid on the inside. If you have too much, it's going to run, and you really just want it to be kind of wet on the inside so that when you put your pigment in, it has a place to land. If you have stuff swirling around in there, you can still deal with it, but you're not going to get the same effect that you're looking for, because that will cause a lot more blending. So what I have on this popsicle stick is a little bit of gum arabic. You can also use Bind and Resist from Colourarte. So gum arabic, if you just lightly sprinkle it in a couple of places, as it dries, it sort of collects the color and creates these really cool effects, like some like dark shadowing in your color, and it really gives you some neat effects. You can do this without gum arabic, but it does add a little something. And you just really don't want huge spots of it without enough moisture. So this first color, I'm kind of just sprinkling in. And if you can see, I have too much liquid on the bottom. So everything I just said, you're going to see kind of how that affects it. So I'm just basically sprinkling in a little aubergine from Colourarte. It's a primary element and it's gorgeous. And I'm just tapping it in kind of around the vase in the center. Now, a dark color is going to take over quite a bit with this process. And so kind of use those colors sparingly unless you really want them to be the main event. I did kind of want this color to be pretty dominant, but it's more dominant than I intended because I had too much liquid. And so that whole backside, which I know is difficult to tell because I had to speed this up, that whole backside is pretty covered. So, but you know, can't control art all the time. So next up, I'm going to use Firefly, which is one of my all-time favorites. I know I say that about a lot of things, but Firefly is like a pinkish reddish kind of pearlescent color, and I thought it would look really cool with aubergine. So what I'm doing that looks kind of crazy because it was really hard to keep in frame is I'm kind of patting those pigments around on the vase on the inside, like with the meaty part of my hand. So I'm tapping that vase up against the meaty part of my hand to get that pigment to spread around a little bit. Obviously with a big object like a vase, it takes a lot more work to get the coverage to do that, but that's kind of what I'm doing. On video though, it looks real crazy, but this video would have been 40 minutes long and it would have been super boring for you guys to watch me whack the side of the vase for 40 minutes. So I also used some interference gold from Colourarte as a good way to fill in some of those gaps that weren't getting coverage. And I also used Indian Spice from Colourarte, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous gold. Now, the interference colors in the Indian Spice are Bling It colors versus the primary elements that I showed you. So I'm just basically going in and seeing where we need color and just dabbing it around. So if you have spots that you're not getting coverage, you will get better coverage with like a metallic mica or an interference color. They just seem to stick better. And so I learned that from Leslie. So that jar of interference gold ran out. Good thing I have backup. What I'm going to do before I put resin on the inside, because I asked Erika, because I'm very analytical sometimes, so I was like, do you just pour a whole bunch of resin on the inside and then swirl it around? So I asked her what specifically she did, and she said she spray sealed the inside first, which would also help keep your pigments in place. So I haven't resined the inside yet, but that's what I'm going to do. I spray sealed, and I'm going to put resin in a little at a time. I'm going to put it in the bottom first, and then I'm going to put it in the other parts. So all, excuse me, all I'm doing now is just kind of hitting the side and moving things around and adding more pigment. So I know this is not uber exciting for you, but the end result is really, really pretty. So I really wanted to use the Vivid Intense Fluid Acrylics in this collaboration, but I just didn't get a piece pulled together in time to do that. But they are really amazing, and I do have a video where I previewed the newest ones, so I'll link that set in the description box below. But they're just beautiful fluid acrylics. I do blooms a lot on my channel. This is Indian Spice, by the way. I do blooms a lot on my channel, and I love fluid acrylics for blooms, so the fact that Leslie is making them in Colourarte is amazing, and the colors are rich and so beautiful. So if you haven't tried them, you definitely should. So now you can start to see the detail on this vase. There's just something so beautiful about the way these turn out, like with vases and ornaments and all of that. They just really turn out gorgeous. So now I'm just making sure I have coverage everywhere. I have had to drain out a lot of extra fluid, which you can see by the purplish rings of color. But you can see how this is starting to form, and it is gorgeous. I just really think it turned out beautiful. And one side has a lot more gold detail because that back side has a lot more of the aubergine, because that's where I had too much fluid swirling around. But it just works. And you can see where there's like some dark contrast. That is from the gum Arabic. So I have gum Arabic listed in my Amazon shop, which I have the link for below, sorry. But you can also get Bind and Resist from Colourarte. It's going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my secret phrase now. So secret phrase alert. My secret phrase is a light, like a light. And you will need to combine all of those secret phrases from everyone's video to enter into the grand prize. So don't forget to leave a comment on this video and all the other artists' video, because each channel has a winner and then there's a grand prize winner. So check out the description box for all the details, but the grand prize winner gets a great shopping spree. Each channel winner also gets, I think, up to $50 value in Colourarte. So really amazing, super generous of Leslie. So don't miss it. And I think you have until the 27th to enter. All of it's below, though. Amazing artists in this lineup. So what you see me doing here is the top was starting to dry a little bit, and so I just added just a tiny bit of polyacrylic and kind of swirled it around on some edges, and then added some pigment, and then went to a different section and did the same thing just to make sure I got good coverage at the top. So you can see this little guy, even though you don't have the greatest angle with me beating this vase up, because I was standing on a stool to make sure I tried to somewhat stay in frame. But look at that. So toward the end, I'm going to show you up close some of those details. But this is really fun. So I have a lot of vases. I do tumbler stuff. I do resin work. I hydro dip stuff. So I have some vases, and people give them to me sometimes. Like my parents would give them to me so that they just didn't have a bunch of clear vases lying around. This probably came from some flowers my husband gave me at some point. So I kind of picked a vase that was like too big to put on a cup turner, probably too big to hydro dip, something that would be kind of big otherwise, and then decided to try it out this way. But I mean, you can get some really nice vases from the dollar store, and do something like this. Now, it will take a lot of resin to coat the inside of it. I'm not going to lie. That's the expensive part. But I would love that vase if I saw it somewhere. So it's really neat when you look at it and you're like, wow, I made that. That's really cool, you know? So anyway, I'm just filling in some spots, and then I'm going to show it to you. Now, these will change a lot as they dry. This one didn't because it was already drying a lot in the process. But here we go. Look at it. The inside looks like it's just dirty, but it's okay. And I picked it up. Oh, this is not the close-up. Anyway, they will change quite a bit as they dry. And so like the ornaments, for example, they change a whole lot. But this kind of stayed this way. So my only challenge is if you're using a deeper color, it's going to take over. So be kind of sparing with it if you can, if you want the contrast. But I just think the way this turned out is gorgeous. Just the details, the colors together, that little pop of Indian spice amongst the aubergine and the interference gold. And I just think it's gorgeous. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like these? Do you want to see more of these? But thank you for joining us today. And thank you to all of my color art friends. It's been great doing this event with you guys. And Leslie, of course. Thank you for you. You're wonderful and so generous. Thanks, guys.